Inside the OMG, episode number 257. 257 episodes in a row. And I'm wearing the Comeback Kings cover art tonight because 12 years ago was the beginning of a great relationship with Eddie Kramer. And I want to talk about the weekend we had with him back in 2012. It was the end of January. And I've got some never-before-seen photos. Some of them have been seen before, but not all. So I wanted to share some photos talking about that awesome experience. What's up, Bad J-Ho, Mom and Dad? Thanks for tuning in. So I wanted to talk about working with Eddie Kramer that first weekend and the song we chose and why we chose it and how it all came to be, and share some photos, and got a little video clip of Eddie in the studio as well. So we're going to talk about that. Samantha in Dallas, thank you so much. Great to see you on this Tuesday. January, end of January 2024. All right, so back in January, it's like 27, 28, 29, something like that. Jimmy, back in San Francisco. Thanks for being here. Hey, this is great. We got more. Hey, Jana and Chip. Thanks for tuning in. All right, it's a party. Appreciate you all being here. So we're going to talk about the Comeback Kings, kind of the origin of how that EP came to be. Ended up being 4 songs on Comeback Kings, but it all started with an opportunity that came our way. Alexa, thanks for tuning in. An opportunity that came our way. So how did we get to work with Eddie Kramer? If you don't know, I know many of you do, but for those of you that don't, Eddie Kramer is a legendary engineer and producer. He worked with, among many others, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, David Bowie, Kiss, Peter Frampton, Anthrax, Oleo, bunch more. He recorded Woodstock. Actually, Woodstock. Crazy. So an opportunity came our way. My good friend Damon Tedesco, who does all the mastering engineering for all of our releases, known him forever, and he went to LMU. He has an audio engineering degree from LMU, and at the time, the department chair for the audio engineering program reached out to Damon because they were doing a production weekend series for their audio students where they bring in a producer to share his or her knowledge and do a hands-on weekend with the students. But what they need is a band. They want to have a live band where they can track the band, put the microphones in the appropriate places, and learn from someone that's been in the business a long, long time. So they have various guests come in throughout the years. Eddie's done it a few times, and he was going to be there that particular weekend. And Damon called me up because they needed a band. Apparently the bands that were being suggested, Eddie passed on. Wasn't interested in those bands. So Damon said, hey, this is happening tomorrow. You know, like it was Thursday and we needed to get in the studio on Friday. And he said, who knows? Put your name in the hat. You never know. Eddie will listen to it. And so we put in Box Spring because that was already finished. It was a finished song. We put in Box Spring and another song, and he checked it out. And I think we had a demo version of Hello Goodbye. So it was Box Spring, Hello Goodbye, and something else. Don't remember. And he picked us. Eddie decided, I want these Oleo guys. Let's bring them in. So party up. So Damon reached out to me and he said, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can find the actual email. This should be interesting. Didn't even think of that. Here's the email. So I got an email from Loudon, who is the head of the recording department at LMU, that they are looking for a band to be recorded and produced by Eddie Kramer for 3 days as part of an instruction. Here is his note. It may be a cool thing to get a recording out of it. So Mladen, who was the department chair of the audio program, he was asking Damon, do you have any bands who would like to be recorded, produced by Eddie Kramer for 3 days? This coming Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we are having a workshop at Loyola, and Eddie is coming, but the bands we have to record are not that impressive. If you know anyone good in mind, would you please let me know? So Damon let him know about Oleo, and then Eddie checked out Oleo, and he said, yeah. So, and then here's Mladen's email to me. Eddie Kramer picked your band to work with. You guys should be prepared for a 3-day commitment, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Please let me know that you are okay with this ASAP. So I let him know ASAP. When that happened, Dee and I and Kelly were very excited, and it was definitely a fantastic opportunity to work with someone of that caliber, to work with Oleo. Up until that point, we'd mostly been self-produced. So it was an opportunity to step outside of what we normally did and work with someone with some fresh perspective. And so I ended up sending him quite a few demos, and he ended up landing on Hello Goodbye. He said, you've got this like fun funk pop rock thing, but I really like this Hello Goodbye song, and let's do that one if you're okay with it. Yeah, let's do it. So we didn't know what it was going to be like to work with him. I hadn't really heard if he was easy to work with, if he was, he had a big track record, so I didn't know if he was, big ego and difficult and kind of throwing his weight around. Turns out he was none of those things as far as big ego and throwing his weight around. Super great. Loves music, loves working in the studio, loves what he does. He's like a kid and dancing around and just really having a great time. Very infectious. Everybody loved him right away. And there's a huge age gap between Eddie and those students at LMU. They're like in their 19, 20, 21 maybe. And at the time, Eddie was 70-ish. He was 68, I think. Because I think he just turned 80. Is that right? I think so. He was 68. But full of energy, and just everyone fell in love with him, and so much fun to be around. Shared all kinds of Hendrix stories and Zeppelin stories. And all you wanted to do was just sit there and ask him questions. Hey, well, so what was that like? And what was it like to be with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page in the studio? And what was it like to be with Hendrix? And that was kind of intimidating for me as a guitar player, because one of the reasons I started playing guitar, I was super inspired by Jimi Hendrix and the way he played, and how it was really how he expressed himself and how he played guitar was just transcendent, otherworldly. Just he tapped into something that was super special. Couldn't articulate it at the time, but there was something about it that I just gravitated toward and was inspired by. So now I am, in Olio, and now I'm working with Eddie Kramer, who helped Jimmy build Electric Ladyland Studios in New York City. And that was pretty surreal to be working with him. And got to be honest, it was a little intimidating, but I was there to do a job. We were working on Olio music, and it was a blast. It was a blast. So I want to show you some pictures. Hey, Kai, thanks for tuning in. It's going well. It's going well. In case you're just joining us, I'm talking about something that happened a weekend in time about 12 years ago. We recorded our first song with Eddie Kramer. We ended up doing 7 more. We did the first one at LMU, Loyola Marymount University, in their studio on campus. And then we ended up, from there, going to East West Studios in Hollywood and recording 3 more songs with Eddie. We released the Comeback Kings EP, 4 songs. And then in the summer, he reached out to me and said, hey, I need a band. I'm going to France, same kind of deal as LMU, but it's for like 10 days. Do you guys want to go? Yeah. So we went. So that was later that year in 2012. That was in October. Magical. But tonight, we're going to talk about that first weekend. And so let me get to the photos, because that's what we're going to do here. All right, so this, I think I took this before Eddie arrived, and D was setting up his drums and doing his thing. We were super excited about this opportunity, and we had talked about, okay, so D and I were always strategizing about how to maximize each moment and see what, all right, our goal is to make a connection, and let's see where this can go, because this is a great opportunity to do more songs with him. So, and Eddie and D really hit it off as well. Eddie loved D, and they immediately had a bond, and were joking around and just having a great time. All right, Miko, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. All right, so Kelly getting some bass sounds. And the studio space, the drum room, is fairly small. You see there's ceiling tiles up above. It's doable, it's passable, but it's not an ideal drum room. But Eddie did the most with what he had and was able to get some decent drum sounds in there. So I'm not sure if Eddie's here yet when I'm taking these photos. But so this is January 27th, 2012. Brought my acoustic in because we're doing Hello Goodbye. So that was happening. Okay, so Eddie's here, and Eddie, now if you look at the drum set, I'm in the control room, so I'm looking through glass. And if you see the drum set, he's got, this is a technique that Eddie really loved using, and he explained a lot about how he would use the blankets. They were like furniture pad. And he would drape them around the kick drum, and he had a couple microphones in there, couple microphones on the bass drum. And I think, so he talked about this technique he would use to record John Bonham's drums. John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, he would use the same kind of thing, and he managed to get really great sounds using these different things he had tried over the years, and then it worked with Zeppelin, and so he was constantly carrying, as most engineers and inventors, you're using what you have. I mean, he started on a 2-track machine, and then it became a 4-track, and then 8 tracks, whoa, and then 16 tracks, which led to 24 tracks, and now in the digital age, it's unlimited tracks. But he revolutionized. He was part of revolutionizing the recording process. As an engineer, he's got, plugins now that are named after him for different things that he used to use and the way he'd modify them, different compressors and EQs. And so back to this moment here. He had positioned all the microphones, and I think we're about to start talking about the song itself and what we're going to do with the song. Jimmy's asking, is it challenging to record with someone else's gear? It is challenging, but fortunately, so that's Dee's drum set. So Dee brought his own drum set, and Kelly's got his own bass, and I had my own guitar and my amp and stuff. So we were using our own gear, which definitely brings the comfort level to where you want it. You want to be comfortable with what you're using to record with, because even though we've been playing for years, there is, a certain level. You don't want to have to think about like a new instrument. I mean, it just depends on the instrument too. I mean, if it's a great instrument and you get a vibe off it. I've talked about this before, where I've played $5,000 Les Pauls that I thought were garbage, and I've played $99 cheaply made Strats that blew away the Les Paul. And I've also played fantastic Les Pauls, don't get me wrong. But I feel like almost every guitar, even though they're put together in pieces and they have a soul, they have something that each individual may or may not connect with. And that's what I found with the guitars that I've been using and I've been playing. Typically, I'll have some kind of connection, I don't know, between myself and the wood. I don't know. So like, this guitar has been around since 2004, 2005. It's a custom Tele that Beth and my brother Bronco surprised me with for Christmas one year. And the Oleo logo, so this guy named Ben Steichleather in North Carolina, he put this together and had the graphics done, and it came back and the Oleo was just, it wasn't right, it was sloppy. And so I opened the guitar, and it's like, wow, I'm blown away. And then I said, oh, there's a problem here. I sent it back. Yeah, I was that guy. I sent it back and I said, come on, man, this is sloppy. And so he corrected it, and it really, now it's got a lot of years of touring and wear and tear and whatnot. You see all the, that means it's been played. Yeah, Beth says we were devastated at how sloppy it was, but he did it justice, and he fixed it, and it still looks great. And I'm happy that we sent it back and made that happen. But I love this guitar. I absolutely love it, and this guitar has been all around the world with me. It's played on so many different stages, and it just fits me. It's the best. So Jimmy, to answer your question, yeah, it's challenging to record with someone else's stuff. If that's all you've got, and you're a professional, you make it happen, and you do it, and you do the best you can. But that is favorite of mine, for sure. Yep, thank you, Beth. Love that guitar. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, so next picture here. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so Eddie is probably moving mics around. He's got a room mic, if you see in the foreground, close to Kelly's head. That's a room mic. So not only is he miking the drums, for you audiophiles out there, you understand that, it's not just close miking the drum, but you also want to get room tone, and because you mix all of that together to create a drum sound for the particular song you're working on. Every song should have its own specific kind of drum sound and bass sound and guitar sounds and all of that. So Eddie was aware of the song we were going to be recording, and so he had in mind how he wanted to track the drums. And really, the better question would be to ask Eddie, was it challenging to record drums in that space? Now, he's used to recording all over the world and in, some fantastic studios. I mean, he's built studios, so he knows exactly how to get the best out of each room. And this room is a little challenging. It's not ideal for drums, but he did a great job with it. So there's a great moment with Eddie and Dee, and Dee's wearing his Soultone shirt. Soultone is a cymbal company that Dee was sponsored by, so he got his cymbals from Soultone. He was a Soultone artist, and I believe, fun fact, Eddie's holding some Fig Newtons and Werners. Yeah, sorry for the out of focus shot, but just wanted to include everything that I had in this particular file. So there's cables and, that's Dee's drum set, and you can see the blankets, and there's yellow tape that's taped to his bass drum so the blanket doesn't fall away. Kelly and Eddie still has those same Fig Newtons in his hand and an unopened Werner's can. Oh, this is a little out of order. Okay, so this is when we arrived before Eddie. Eddie's not there yet, and because I see the timestamp, 9:50 a.m. So Dee is setting up before Eddie walked in, and we're just getting things going. And I remember that feeling. It's so funny. I remember this moment, feeling excited, a little nervous. Is he gonna like us? How's it gonna go? What's this weekend gonna be like? Will it lead to more things? Wanted to be ourselves, but impress him. Okay, so now there's some of the students in there, and Eddie's on the left, and he's sitting down and he's explaining what microphones he's using. And unfortunately, I didn't make a list of why and what, and I was just excited to for this moment to happen, and I wasn't paying attention to all those technical things because I was still thinking okay, how's this gonna go? How's this gonna go? How's this song gonna go? So he's busy dealing with the mics and telling the students what's up. All right, so okay, same day. I think we had done some tracking already, and I'm getting ready to do some scratch vocals. So I'm in that room, that drum room, and now you can see what the control room looks like as I'm looking at Eddie through the glass. And he's sitting in front, he's standing there actually in front of the mixing console and the speakers that he has in there. And so the students, there's a bunch of students lined up, sitting around and listening to Eddie talk about what's happening and why he's doing what he's doing and what's going on. And I snapped that photo. They had a piano in that room, so we were fooling around playing some piano, and I think D took this shot. We were on a little lunch break, and so we were just fooling around and playing. And Eddie can play. He can play piano. He sits down and just, because he grew up playing piano. So that was fun. That was fun listening to him play. Towards the end of the day, had a nice group shot there. Scarf, was it cold or your throat? Throat. Yeah, I remember I think I had a little bit of a cold going into that weekend. And my voice wasn't 100%. That was one of the things, probably why I was anxious and a little nervous, because, oh no, I'm finally working with, this big time engineer and producer, and I got a little bit of a cold. So yeah, so that's what that was about. I had the scarf, and I remember, Beth, you armed me with some Starbucks green tea, so I had my green tea going in there. I remember that. I remember thinking, is 2012. D and I had been in Olio, well, formerly known as Vivid, but we were in Olio since 98. D and I had been together since 97. Kelly joins the band in October of 2011. December, we're rocking the House of Blues, and we crushed that gig. And then in January of 2012, we're working with Eddie Kramer. And I'm looking at Kelly like, man, you sure walked into this project at the right time. And he's just, yeah, he's cool. This is great. He was a young man then, 24 years old. Wow, Kelly's 24 there. Alexa, if you're still watching, Kelly is 24 years old there. Amazing. Still figuring life out. Oh, and his, not even his mid-20s yet. Almost middle 20s. Man, I'm just caught up looking at this photo. Great memory, great moment. So fun. So much looking forward. All right, so there's my trusty Crate tube amp. It's the V16 Palomino. And so you see there's a 57 mic, and then another mic that's upside down. I don't know what it is. And then another mic, and I don't know what that is. Maybe you recording engineer types could tell me. That might be a 414 on the right. Yeah, Beth, such a great photo of the four of you. I love that photo. So you got 3 mics on my amp, all to make a killer tone. So I was like, ooh, I better take a picture of this, because I've never used 3 mics on my amp before. I would just use one, which I still just use one. I use a 57 on an angle just like that, and there it is. Go to town. Got the lyric sheet. This is the next day, so now this is the day I'm tracking my vocals, and I'm doing the best I can with what I got. My voice isn't 100%, but I made do. So there's Eddie in the control booth. That's, now I'm tracking vocals for real. I wasn't just doing scratch vocals. I was doing vocals for real, and we were doing it. This is at 12:30 p.m., 12:31 p.m. on January 29th, 2012. You sounded great. Thank you, Beth. Now I think, okay, it's 4:23 p.m. and we're in the middle of mixing. So Kelly's off there to the right, and he's paying attention, and he's like, wow, okay, what's this stuff that Eddie's doing? What's going on here? And you got a couple students there on the right soaking it all in. I wonder what those guys are doing. It's been 12 years. I wonder if any of them ended up producing music, or if they're audio engineers. I don't know. I know we got a lot out of being there. I hope they did. Great candid moment. Mixing and talking and, so what do you think about this, boys? I was thinking about doing this, and I was thinking about, we add a little effect here, and who knows? You know, the time when I was working with McCartney, I was thinking that, who knows what stories he was telling. So great. Good overhead shot of the board. I don't think that board is there anymore. I think they've updated the board since then. It's a new board. We ended up a few years later going back to that studio and working with Ross Hogarth. Ross Hogarth is a producer and engineer that worked on the last Van Halen album before Eddie passed away. He mixed and I think helped produce that album. He also did albums with John Mellencamp and Keb Mo, Taj Mahal. I think he won a Grammy with the Taj Mahal Keb Mo blues album. So we did Dirty, the song Dirty, with Ross in this same studio. And I think when we came in, that I think was 2016, and they had a different board. And Ross was commenting on, oh, I'm used to the old board they had in here, and it's whatever. So, it's been a while. Who knows? Maybe they even have another new board. I don't know. Eddie Van Halen, not Eddie Kramer. Oh, yeah. Did I say Eddie Kramer? Eddie Van Halen is who I meant. My mistake. A lot of Eddies in this episode. Little blurry, I realize. Did the best I could. I think I was just trying to capture the moment, and I don't know, focus didn't happen. But you see Dee and Kelly intently paying attention to Eddie's every move. Oh, there's my favorite stormtrooper. All right. No, you just said Eddie, did not want any confusion. Oh, okay, thank you. Thanks for that. All right, so the weekend went great. We were so happy working with him, and the last day, Eddie had a presentation because not only did he engineer all of these legendary artists over the years, he also had a camera with him, and so he was taking shots of Jimmy in the studio and Zeppelin in the studio, and he had amazing pictures. And so he had put together this portfolio filled with these amazing photos working with these artists in the studio. So he put together a presentation, and he showed off these photos in one of the auditoriums at LMU on the Monday. So we went and got to hang out. Dee and I went and watched, and he told stories and shared photos, and it was just awesome. And so after the event, Dee and I were like, okay, we have to talk to him, because we need his contact info, and we need to move this thing forward. We can't have this be just a one and done. And so we talked to him after the presentation was over, and everyone said their goodbyes, and we came up to Eddie and said, hey, listen, we had such a great time working with you. We have more songs. We'd love to work with you some more. And he was like, I'd love to work with you guys. You guys are great. So that was the end of January. By middle March, we were recording at East West, doing 3 more songs, and we decided we were gonna he wanted to fix some things with Hello Goodbye because we had more time and a better sounding room. So we fixed some things with Hello Goodbye, and so then he ended up remixing Hello Goodbye properly because he had more time. And we also had Saturday Night, and we had Comeback Kings on there. And he had said to me, look, you guys have a really cool thing going on, but I think you need a piano ballad. And I had told that story before, but for those of you that don't know, he said to me, think McCartney, think piano, do a ballad. I just think you guys need a ballad. You guys doing all the fun rock, funk, pop thing, but change it up. Let me see what else you can do. Ooh, Eddie Kramer gave me an assignment. I went home that night and wrote More Than That on the piano. And then I called him up and I said, I got it. I got the song. And he said, okay. And I said, well, why don't you come over and check it out? So he came over. He was here in this room, and I played him More Than That for him live. And we talked about, okay, and we kind of moved some things around, and he gave me some suggestions, but he was like, this is great, let's do it, let's record this, I want to record this one too. So that ended up being the 4th song on the Comeback Kings EP. And I remember also just wow, Eddie's coming to my house, this is wild. So Eddie came over, and it was a great afternoon. So what did you get to walk away with from the studio? Master, cassette copy, etc. Okay, so we ended up with the final mix. We didn't have, the multi-track. They kept that. But we ended up with... no, I take it back. You know what? I think I ended up with a copy of the multi-track. I had to have, because then Eddie used it to do a proper mix later on. So yeah, I ended up with a multi-track. They gave us a quick CD mix of what we did, but it was in no means, finished. It was okay, we're gonna, we need to actually do it right. Oh, you know what? So give me a sec here, because I think I can find that actual recording. I was going to close out this episode with the studio version of Hello Goodbye that we ended up releasing, but it might be more fun. Actually, it'll be more fun if I can find the demo version, or not the demo, but what we did at LMU. All right, so give me a moment to look for that. I'll keep sharing some stories as I look for the LMU mix of Hello Goodbye from that weekend. And for those of you with a really good ear, you'll be able to hear the difference from the actual studio release, the official release, and the LMU version. Okay, hold on. Getting to the right folder. Okay, let me take a listen here. This might be I'm not sure if this is the version I'm just listening to. See if I can hear the difference. I think that's the version. Ooh, okay. I found a folder with a lot more versions. Let me see if I can find the Hello from Lauren and Jennifer. Wow. Hey, you two. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. I'm going over the weekend we had with Eddie Kramer from 12 years ago, where we recorded Hello Goodbye, a Reef D and Eddie Kramer jam. Wow, that was some other things going on. Yeah, more importantly, I need to find which I think it was. I think that was the version I want to play for you. So what I'm going to do, let me just cue this up. So at the end of the episode, well, I think this is the right one. And if it's not, I'll correct it and it'll be right for next week. Okay, so give me a moment. I'm not ending the show, but I have to... There, I'll do that. So, not ending the show. I just need to switch the right song. All right. Yeah. Beth says, Miko! I'm still here. I realize you're seeing a picture. No, I have to do this because I want to cue the last song properly, and this is what you get. So I apologize. I know you can hear me, but I know you're seeing the picture of the three of us. I just need 30 more seconds to get to the right spot. I'm getting there. It's happening. Look at how it's happening. It's all happening. Nope. Getting there. We're very close. Very, very close. Got it. Okay. Got it. It's going to happen. So at the end of this episode, you'll get to hear that LMU version of Hello Goodbye. But right now, I want to play for you. So in March of 2012, when we were mixing, we went to LAFX in the Valley, where Eddie loved to mix at the time. And here's a bit of him in the studio mixing Hello Goodbye. So check this video out. So if you see what he was doing there, he's working the faders, and the faders were recording his moves. So as you're playing it back, each fader is going to record how it moves when it moves. So he was really, massaging the faders so that as it plays back, you'll see the faders changing volumes depending on the section of the song that's happening. And if you know the song and we play the song at the end, there's this part that we had written, in between goodbye and the next hello. He wanted to end the recording like that, almost as a question mark, like instead of resolving to. So I had presented to him, well, this is how we do the song. This is how we end it. In between goodbye and the next hello, so long. And he said, no. Let's not do that. Let's have more of a what's the right word? Artistic ending, not that, but just leave it hanging, leave people wanting more. So I said, all right, we'll do that. And funny enough, we released the album, we're done, and he says to me, I made a mistake. We should have kept that ending in. You were right. I said, Eddie, I was listening to you. And he said, yeah, that ending was really good. We should have kept it in. Oh well. So, little bit of oleo history there. That little ending part isn't on the recording, but if you see us live, you'll always hear it. It's always there to close it out. But the recording is different. It doesn't do that. All good. All good. All right, so we've got a few more minutes before I play that, what we ended up with at LMU 12 years ago with our first song that we recorded with Eddie. I got a little time. I can play a couple songs. I mean, I think you can put that ending on the compilation CD. There you go. So how about... I might as well play Hello Goodbye since we've been talking about recording it this whole episode. So that'll be fun. I'll play it now for you, and then you'll hear the recorded version, what we did at LMU, that will close out the show, or an anniversary CD. I like it. All right. Let me get a different pick here. Let me get my Hawaii pick. Alexa went to Hawaii and brought me some picks. I'm going to use that. All right, so I'll do Hello Goodbye. We come and go. Sometimes we stay a little while. We never know how long. We catch a glimpse of how we think it should be. We try to hold on. We say hello, so long goodbye, until we meet again. We say hello, so long goodbye. This is not the end. Braka boom. Oh, photographs that take us all the way back. Another place in time. Remember when we thought things never would change. try to hold on. We say hello, so long goodbye, until we meet again. We say hello, so long goodbye. This is not the end. In between goodbye and the next hello, I'm reminiscing. Farewell to my friends, may our love transcend. It's you I'm missing. Wish you all the best, and most of all, I thank you. I thank you. We say hello, so long goodbye, till we meet again, till we meet again. We say hello, goodbye. In between goodbye and the next hello, farewell to my friends. Hello, goodnight. This can't be the end. In between goodbye and the next hello, so long. Hello, goodbye. I remember writing the song, and when we wrote it, Matt Sherrill was still in Olio, and I think it was like 2010. And I remember, so the song is about friendships and picking up where you left off, even when you haven't seen your friends in a long time. And I know we can relate. Chip, we don't see each other that often anymore, but when we do, it's, you know, family, brotherhood. It's amazing. And it's also about losing people that you love, that have passed on to the other side. And I remember while I was writing it, my dog Matisse was not doing so well. And I remember as I'm writing it, I would look over at her and she was having a tough time breathing. And, you know, she was still with us for a while after I finished writing the song, but, you know, it was kind of rough. And I remember just thinking, wow, this is kind of a goodbye song in a way to her. And then it ended up being used. I've sung it at a few different funerals, and sung it at Dee's funeral in 2019 when he passed away, which never imagined we'd be doing that song. I'd be doing that song to say goodbye and honoring him. Crazy. So, great memories. Facebook, as you know, for those of you that are on Facebook, a memory from 2013 popped up. The NAMM show was this past weekend, and a bunch of my friends were at NAMM. I didn't go this year. and they were posting pictures and whatnot. And Facebook said, hey, here's a memory from 11 years ago. And it was a shot of Eddie and Kelly and Dee and me. And I remember just how much fun we had that day. Going around, we went and hung out at the different events that Eddie had. He was a guest speaker from some of the vendors, and he was at the Shure, I think Shure Microphone had a thing for him, and it was just fun. We hung out with him all day and had a really good time. And so that photo came up and saw, wow. And then another one came up talking about 12 years ago when we were in the studio with him. Actually, it wasn't a photo. It was just, I think it was just text. I posted just text, no picture, just day one in the studio with Eddie Kramer. And I thought, wow, that was this weekend. That was 12 years ago. All right. I'll share some photos and talk about it on tonight's episode. So that's what this one's been about. Hello, goodbye with Eddie Kramer from 12 years ago. And I'm so glad that you guys tuned in and hung out with me. Really appreciate you, as always, spending your Tuesday an hour with me. And this is episode 257. When I say that, I just can't even... crazy. 257 coming to a close. So I'm happy I found it. I queued it up. And this is the LMU mix from that weekend in 2012 of January at LMU with Dee, Kelly, and myself, and Eddie Kramer producing. This is Hello, Goodbye. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you next time, next Tuesday. And be well. I love you. We come and go. Sometimes we stay a little while. We never know how long. We catch a glimpse of how we think it should be. We try to hold on. We say hello, so long, goodbye, till we meet again. We say hello, so long, goodbye. This is not the end. Old photographs that take us all the way back, another place in town.